Hello and welcome back. The UK is in the grip of a heat wave, and yesterday it was merciless. You just had to seek shade, but people in hotter climes are probably used to that anyway. But today it's slightly overcast. It is hot, it is muggy, the temperatures are up. There's a slight wind, so this is good walking conditions as far as I'm concerned, to go and get the east to west crossing Bodmin moor walk that I've had planned for a long time done. I've had one failed attempt, and that was due to weather conditions, but today I've been dropped off. It's extremely late. I'm starting around dinner time, so I don't expect to complete this till very late in the day. That's my fault, and obviously being a family man and commitments and all other things that I've got to take into consideration, that's the best I could do today. So without any further ado, I'm going to start. I'm confident, I'm tired, but I've just got that little nagging doubt. But I'm here. I'm going to give it a good crack at the whip, shall I say, to get this done. So let's see what happens through today. Well, this is the start point. I'm on the east side of Caradon Hill, and I've got to climb that hill. It looks shallow, but it goes on for a long time, and it's an extremely high hill, and it's true moorland, so it's not going to be like a straightforward walk. And there's my Garmin. I've kind of got it rolling at the minute. I've been messing and flapping around here, but yeah, it's not a race, but there you go. And I'm going to get this started. So basically I'm on the trail now, and I'm stopped and I'm looking down over. I can actually see Plymouth Sound from here, even though it's many miles in the distance, and I can look across to the south coast. Just seeing the sea, and I can see an island, which I'm not sure what it is. It's just probably just a speck of rock. No, I think actually on second looks, it looks like it could be a big container ship. So there you go. I probably need to go and get my eyes checked out. But I can see the sea, and yeah, I'm starting to gain elevation. I'll bring you around. You can see an old moorland wall. The actual towers of Caradon, twin towers there, and this is the trail I'm going up. So yeah, obviously I have covered this in the beginning part of my other video where I was crossing the moor, but I'll document it as I'm doing it. It's a lot easier because my pack is a lot lighter, because obviously I'm not carrying kit to allow me to wild camp. So even though wild camping and doing what I was doing there would be possibly a good call, I don't have the time. I'm running out of actual days and hours, because we're in the midst of getting ready to go to Portugal for a month. So you can see I've reached the top, and I'm now going to descend into Minions, and I'll swing you around, and you can see very evidently where I'm going to be going. And that first feature, that big quarry with the cheese ring on top, is my first destination. And in the very distance you can see Brown Willie, and we've got to go, basically go over that and down to Routor. So basically I should be moving through all this terrain, valleys and moorland. But yeah, I'm going to crack on now and get through Minions and over to the quarry. The village of Minions has quite some impressive engine houses dotted around its, shall we say, location, and it's a reminder to its rich mining heritage. And Minions itself is the highest village in Cornwall, and I'm just about to come into it now and make my way over to an ancient monument. The village itself has a few amenities like tea rooms and that, where you can get some refreshments. but I'm going to carry on through. I've got my own food. I'll stop in a couple hours time and grab something to eat. I'm just approaching the hurlers, and it's a group of stone circles from the Neolithic and early Bronze Age. It is near a car park, so you got to expect people here, but on occasions, and this is one of them, I'm quite lucky to be here by myself. There are people making their way here and coming back off the moor, but for a few moments I get to have these stones to myself and get to soak in the atmosphere and indeed the vibes of possibly, you know, why these stones were actually put here. But there's two more stones further away called the Pipers, and there is a legend that goes with the Pipers and indeed these stones. So I'm coming into the stone circles now, and you can see that it's not a small construction. It is quite sizable. The stones themselves are of a significant size. I mean, it's not Stonehenge, but unlike some of the monuments that you'll find dotted around on Bodmin Moor and indeed Dartmoor, a lot of them, the stones are indeed a lot smaller. But as you can see, as I sweep you around, you can see the actual measure of it. And indeed, the Pipers are two stones over there. But indeed, these stones were apparently men turned to stone for playing the game of hurling on the Sabbath, and when asked to stop by a local priest, they refused and continued. So he came back and turned them to stone forevermore. And it's a similar story for the Pipers as well, but they, instead of playing the game of hurling, were playing the Cornish pipes. They refused to stop, and they got turned to stone. I'm now approaching Stowe's Hill and the cheese ring structures on the top. Yet again, Christianity is involved. Basically, the legend goes that the giants actually had a contest with a local saint or an incoming saint, and basically the gist of it is the saint said, well, I'll challenge you to a stone throwing contest, and if you lose you will convert to Christianity, to the Cornish giants. Their terms were, if we win, you leave Cornwall and leave us in peace. But as it turns out, on the 13th throw of the stone, the giants missed the stack of stones. So when it came to the actual saint and priest, he threw his 13th stone, landed on top of the stack, and from that moment, Cornwall, under the legend, became Christian, and indeed the actual giants themselves had to convert to Christianity. So there you go. I'm not going to mess around too much on top there. I'm just going to skirt the outside. I have other videos where I've been up there, you can see. My main aim is to get across these moors, and I've got a lot of ground to cover. So yeah, I'm going to push on past this quarry and the cheese ring itself, and I can see a few people sat on top of the structure. I believe this is Daniel Gum's cave, if my memory serves me right to his name. There's an inscription on that stone which is incredibly hard to read at the moment due to the light, and he did actually bring wife and kids up in a cave like this to avoid financial costs and taxation and all things of that nature. They would have had a hard life up here, but he did manage to convince them to live with him, which I don't think he would get many doing that these days. And that's the structures themselves, the cheese rings as they're locally known. If I bring you around, you can see the moorland a little bit of wind developing because we're getting higher, and some people just walking back. There are people walking around that hill, and this is about as far as people would normally go just for their little walk or with their dogs, because you start getting out onto the moor after you leave the cheese ring. But I'm going to go up over there, make my way down the opposite side. And there's still a lot of actual stone down there which could, I suppose, be worked, but like I said before when I've been here, a lot of material has been removed because it's a sheer face, and that actual hill would technically have gone in a semicircle right the way down to join this side here. So that's a lot of material gone. Quickly going to show you where I'm heading to and where I've got to go to, but you can already see I'm quite high up here. I've got to get down over this scree pile and make my way down so I can gain access to Sharp Tor. And I live somewhere down there, and I look up on this, and I'll bring you around. Sharp Tor we're heading to, Kilmore, but I've got this like a semicircle of scree to get across and get down across to this grassy plain here and drop down over the hill. I'm going to get over there and then I'm going to get something to eat. It's what time is it? It's nearly 1 o'clock, so I need to rehydrate, get some food, take stock and get ready for the next leg to push through. Well, I've stopped for a sandwich, pack of crisps, chocolate bar, coffee, and I've rehydrated with a load of juice. The wind is welcome because it's actually quite cooling. I've seen a few people on the moor behind me where I'm going to, but they're far and few between, and they look to be all heading in scattered directions. I've now left all the holiday walkers well behind, and they won't be coming out this far, and indeed where I'm going to, I should imagine I will be totally alone. So, you know, this is pretty much the first leg pretty much drawing to a close, but that still leaves me with the middle bit. There's a lot of bushwhacking with that particular section of this walk. I haven't shown it to you before, but I will do this time. It's real hard going, so a bit of apprehension about what's coming up ahead of me. I'm on the move again, and I've got to drop down into this valley and climb off to the higher ground through Sharp Tor, and Brown Willie is starting to look a little bit closer over there, but it's still a long way. Right then, let's get on with this. I don't mind actually doing things on my own. I know a lot of people have commented to me before, how do you enjoy doing things on your own? And I think I've touched on the subject before, but I, as an individual, do need to have periods of time where I can just be by myself and my own thoughts, and basically, you know, explore what's going on in my head to myself. And I find it extremely therapeutic and healthy. And there's always that old adage that, you know, you've got to be able to enjoy your own company for anybody else to enjoy yours. So, I do enjoy being out on my own. I can't lie to that. I'm not a loner. I do like socialising, but I do find doing things like this makes me a slightly better all-round person. And I've always enjoyed being out in nature, and I would say over my lifetime a good 90% of that has been basically as an individual or doing things on my own. Well, I've stopped for a breather. That sharp tor I scrambled up over, looking across the Tor, and just if I went down this rise into the valley, you'd come up to where you can just see the quarry of the Tor Stoneworks. 12-man tour, or I call it 12 man's tour, but it's 12 man's moor sitting in the bottom, and that's Kilmore Tor. I was thinking of doing my usual route of going up through there. I'm not going to go up over because on the opposite side it's heavily brackened and there is some big gullies and in between the boulders and some drop-offs. So I'm going to make my way over to the left-hand side, skirt around Kilmore Tor and drop down into a road which will take me to a bridleway. So yeah, a slightly different route, but it should now allow me to stay obviously to the high ground, but obviously give me a slightly more direct route to where I'm trying to get to. I've just literally covered myself in sun cream. I feel all slimy with it, but even though it's got clouds overhead, you know, I can just feel tingling on my arm where there's enough sun coming through. So you need to bear that in mind, particularly if you're out in open spaces and you've got no shade like trees or anything like that. You are continually getting hit by the sun. I am obviously wearing my hat as well because I've suffered enough sun damage over the years. But yeah, I'm really feeling it now with the heat. Like I said, I took plenty of fluids with me. I've got 2 canteens of 1 litre each of juice, and then I've got a litre and a half of coffee. Coffee, by the way, is probably not the best hydrating fluid there is, but that should be enough to get me to a waypoint, which will be Jamaica Inn. And if I'm running low on fluids, I can top up there or purchase some. But I'm just taking a moment, taking a breather, and then I'll crack back on. Well, this is not too bad going. I'm picking a slightly horizontal route across this hillside. So what I'm aiming to do is not have to gain any elevation or lose elevation to reach the point over there. So I'm conserving my energy. If I'd have dropped down off the tour there, you can quite easily see that is one big valley to go down and then climb up again. Like I say, the aim of this particular day is to cross the moor from east to west, and I've started late in the day, so I'm trying to conserve my energy and make good progress. I've visited most of these tours before, and indeed that will be something I can explore doing as a should we say wild camp, revisit that idea and visit all the tours on a separate occasion. But I just want to get the east and west of this moor done. It's just something that's festering away in the back of my mind, and like I said, I'm here. I've made the effort to get here, and it's possibly my last opportunity, at least for another couple months, to give this a try. So there is a bit of pressure on me now to make this happen. Part of the old trackway for locomotives to come and take the mining and quarried material off the moors back when this area was quite industrial. and that's Kilmore a lot closer, and it looks quite impressive. The drop off is way bigger on the opposite side, and it's quite steep going down into the other valley, and you can just make out the trig point over there. But I'm heading over there between those rocks there, and I'll skirt around and come back down. Kilmore tour from behind. I'm on a bridleway now, and I'm heading to a wood block I'm going to get in, and there's something in there hopefully I'll be able to show you. So I'm just basically made my way through a moorland farm. See all the sheep there? They're looking a little bit bedraggled, but yeah, basically this is an old bridleway, and it's taking me down to a river. And from there, that's pretty much where my pathway is then into this wood block. So I've got to continue down here. Yeah, I don't think this gate is going to be stopping much in the way of cattle, but yeah, as you can see, I'm out of the farmyard and I'm heading down to the wood block. Now, this is where the bushwhacking will start. If you're wondering what those sounds are behind me that sound like rifle fire, there is, and that is a range. So you do have to know where the bridleway is, and you know what I mean. Don't ever attempt to get in the way or just wander willy-nilly. Obviously, I know where this bridle range is, and I know where my safe train of thought and walking should be while this is going on. It's perfectly safe. They're miles away in respect to where they're conducting their activity, but yet again, you know what I mean, if you're in the countryside, you have to have a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of understanding. The countryside isn't just somewhere, it's managed, it's worked, and it's used for varying different degrees of activities. So, all that being said, you have to understand what your place in this environment is. And you don't want to ruin somebody else's day, and you don't want to ruin your day by anybody getting hurt or, any trouble arising. So, like I said, pre-planning, pre-thought, maps, and an understanding of where you're going and what activities could be taking place there are a big must when you're actually out in the countryside. Right, and here's an obstacle now. This is where the bushwhacking starts. It is a bridleway, but it ends in a wood, and parts of this river are deep. You just can't go across. I'm going to have to pick my way across, and there is an entrance up there. You can barely see it. It's covered in ferns. This is where my hard work starts, and yeah, I'm going to get across this river, get across the other side, and I'll quickly show you. Well guys, it's getting hot now. There's a few midges. Obviously I'm down by a river and it's getting a bit damp and boggy, some of the ground, but I'm going in there. There is something that I'm hoping I can show you. When I passed through here not long ago, the ferns were beginning to overtake it. Come autumn and the winter, when they die back, it becomes fully visible. I might still have a bit of luck in showing you guys. It is something really extraordinary and special. But yeah, it's getting hot now, and I've got that where I'm literally sweating everywhere. I will stop for another fluid intake once I get into this area where I've got to start working. This is a stone wall, and you'd be correct in thinking that, and they're Iron Age, and out through here in amongst all these ferns is an Iron Age village. These ferns have really come up, and this means I've got a lot of bushwhacking. I'm going to try and follow some trails through. I may be beaten and have to go back and find another way out onto the open moorland. When I last came through, they're about knee high. Now they're getting shoulder high, so you might not see any of this village. But yeah, there's a preserved Iron Age village in here, long houses and everything. If I don't see it today, I will bring you back at some point during the winter months when it's all these ferns die off. Ferns die off in the winter to nothing, just stubble basically. But I'm going to get some fluid in me and I'm going to start making my way through this. Right, you can see I'm bushwhacking now. And I'm coming up to more stone structures. Obviously you can't see them. It's buildings and obviously other structures like that. You're not going to see it unfortunately today. But I've got to bushwhack through this, and I mean, look at it. This is pretty, it's bad, it's hard going. It was hard enough when it was sort of like knee deep, but that's why you wear trousers, because of ticks. So, yeah, I'm going to push on through this. This is real hard graft, this is. And I'm trying not to trip over somebody's front door. So, it just goes on forever. Look, it's a massive, massive sea of it. And that's not the end of it. I've got some woods to go through. See another stone boulder there. Like I say, you can actually see it when this is all died back. You won't see it today. So, but it is in here. Right. Let me get through this. Whew. This is graft. Yeah, if you thought I was joking about bushwhacking and you think that there's no such thing in England, come and stand where I'm to. Like I said, there's places it's over my head and I'm forging a trail through this or cutting the trail. It's hard going as well. And I've got no tree cover. I'm hoping to try and get into some trees shortly, but they're so tightly packed, I've got to pick my way through those as well. I am stumbling into the remains of all these buildings here, but like I say, I've got no idea. When I came through here, you could pick them out easily. From here you can't now. As you can see, it's impossible. I'm just basically walking and tripping over everything as I make my way through all this. It is a hard graft, and I know I keep on about it, but I am literally running with sweat. But yeah, I've got to try and remember where I came out from up here. Once I get this bit done and get onto the open moorland, I should be pretty good to get some good miles under my belt fast. Yeah, once again, like I said, you know, you can see it going, the outline goes up through there and all the way down through there of the walls, and it comes around and where I've just come in over there. So you can, like I say, I will bring you guys back when you can see something, because it's a complete whole Iron Age village and you can actually see the complete outline of it. But take a ganders at this. Anybody fancy being in here with me? Well guys, I've now hit the tree line, and as you can see behind me, this is going to be no easy task either. The sun is breaking through the clouds are dissipating, so it's up the ante and I'm burning a lot of fluid, a lot of energy, and it's making for some really, really excruciatingly hard work in here. It was hard a few weeks ago and it was cooler. But no, now it's absolutely back-breaking work breaking through this. The trees are so tightly packed and you're trying to force through, and the best I can do is try and find deer trails, and that's not that easy. So I've got to try and get to this fire road. So yeah, This is hard work, and it's what I've been dreading on this whole expedition. This is actually where a hiking stick comes into its own feeling in front of you. There's lots of tree roots and things like that. I'm trying to forge a path out through this, and on some occasions it really is a case where you got to bash your way through, but as you can see, this is hard work, you know, and it's not made easier by the leftovers of forestry from probably 50-60 years ago all over the place. But yeah, this is real hard graft. I don't mind saying that. And I've probably burnt an hour just trying to get through this bit here. Find out what that is. There. I think I can just see the fire road now. Right, I'm on the fire trail. I've burnt way too long in there, and I'm pushing hard on this. When I get to a gate that leads to the open moor again, I'm going to do some admin, sort myself out. I've got thorns inside of me, stuff pricking me, so I'm going to try and get myself sorted before I push on. Whew. Tell you what, that was a bloody big workout, that was. Anyway, as you can see, I'm going to stop filming and plod this like mile out a minute at a reasonable pace, make some time and distance up. Right, I've stopped at this gateway. I've got a bit of shade from some trees. I'm going to have a drink. Take 10-15 minutes, but you can see the high ground there that we've come down over, and that's some serious elevation there. I mean, yeah, that's high, and we've come through that forest, through the valley, bushwhacked all through that, well, I'm going to call it the hell on earth experience, and then came out onto a fire road like there and plodded about a mile out to get to here. I've got a tree here with my stuff there. I'm taking 15 minutes chill time just to cool down, get my stuff together, and just think about my next move. Right then, so far I've burnt through one complete canteen, that's a litre of juice. I've gone through half my other litre of juice, and I'm halfway through a flask of coffee. I am approaching my way stop in not too far a distance. I've got enough to get me there, then I'll resupply when I get there. If I was to do this in one foul hit, I would at least need, in conditions like this and this heat. I know we are in the middle of a supposed heat wave, or a heat wave as they tell us, and I am burning through liquid fast. It's going to sound stupid, but because of my former career, and it was drummed into us, hydrate, 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 I am fully aware of how fast the body can go down or get fatigue if you allow yourself to get dehydrated. I've kept myself pretty hydrated through all this so far, and I'm not feeling too bad, and like I said, I feel I've done a pretty good job to keep myself hydrated, and I'm not feeling any ill effects. But if I was to feel in any way any of the first symptoms, I would pull the plug on this. I'd get to a road, phone my ride and get out of here. I wouldn't push it in the terrain I'm in. But like I said, I've got enough fluid with me to get me to my next way stop. I've kept hydrated and everything's good. So that's just a point to take in note. If you're not fully up to speed with hydration and how much it matters, it does. People do die if they get dehydrated in conditions like this if you're exerting yourself. So always remember that and take care. I'm on the move and the skies are absolutely starting to come with that blue, which says sun, heat and everything. You can see, thank God, we're off the high ground there, but the sun is really beginning to come down, and I've got no shade here because I'm heading up here onto the open moorland. My next stop will be a wood block over there, about 1.5 miles away. But thankfully, I don't think the track is going to get too hard of going. It's just a case I've got to plod it out in the heat. I've rehydrated, I've had a little rest, and yeah, when I get into that wood block, it'll be nice to be shaded by the trees as I make my way for about another 1.5 miles within that shaded area. So you're probably beginning to get the idea of why it's been so important for me to complete this. Firstly, it's not easy. Secondly, weather conditions can be challenging here, and are challenging. It's either icy, snowy, gaily, rainy. It's very rare that it is absolutely the perfect conditions. Now, while the conditions are good, it could do with being just a tad cooler without the glaring sun. But like I said, this is my only real window of opportunity, so I'm doing it. And like I say, I'm taking my time, hydrating, making sure I'm not going to injure myself. So, you know, hopefully it pays off for me this time. Another little stream, or river really, and I'm heading up there. I've got to get across it obviously first. The only problem with like having a filter and trying to drink this is on all the areas here it is cow poo and agricultural animal mess that butts right into this river. So I'm not sure you'd really want to drink from it, even with a filter. But I do understand some people say that filters can do it, although I have no idea whether they can or not, because I've never purchased or looked into that kind of filtration of water in that method. And to prove a point, you can probably see all those flies if I get closer. They're all eating all the animal feces, which is in this particular bit of water, and that's where I've just come through, and you can see how rancid that is. Like I said, unfortunately the water sources here on Bodmin Moor have a heavy concentration of cattle in and around them. And here we are. I made a home there, well, trying to get out into the shade, but yeah, hello my old friend, but I don't have time yet again today to stop and have a look around. Like I say, I've got to keep going. I have incidentally just been and had a look around in there only days ago, and I did actually do a little video about it, but yeah, I've got to say goodbye because I've got to keep plodding out the miles, and I've got a long way to go yet, but it's a familiar landmark on a lot of my legs or routes. And here I am, open moorland again. Ooh. Ooh. Right, not too far from the wood block, and This little structure is becoming a familiar friend as well, and a little focal point for me to cast my mind to places and times gone by. I'll just bring it back here. You can see there's about 4 tours there, and we've just come over the back of all that lot, through all the valleys in between, open moorland, and here we are. But the job ain't done yet. Some shade from those trees is going to be welcome. Oh boy, I can't even begin to tell you how good it feels to get under these trees. Look at that. That just says cool. It says refreshing, and it says it just says pleasant. Crossing that open moorland was pretty full on. It was red as out there. I've got sun cream. You can probably see the glisten on me. It's not just sun cream, it is actually sweat. I'm going to get to where I need to start on another public footpath, one that I will have to do a little bit of navigation on this, and I'm going to stop and have my tea, rehydrate again, and make my way to the waypoint, which is Jamaica Inn. It will be open, and I will purchase a long cool drink. I will contemplate life and what's driven me to actually want to do things like this. But no, I shall have a drink, and then I shall hit the last leg of the trail. And even when it gets to evening, weather like this, it will make for a stunning finale to this actual trail and hike. So yeah, I'm going to get this woodland section bit done, and get some food and start hydrating. Well, that trackway there is the last one of the forest, and the one down there is the one that's going to take me onto a footpath and out towards Jamaica Inn. I've just sat down, I've had my last sandwich, pack of crisps, finished off the last of my juice. I've got nothing of that left. I've got a cup of coffee which I'm taking back, and I've got enough fluid, as in one more cup of coffee. So basically, you know, I do have to stop when I get to Jamaica Inn. There's hundreds of flies buzzing around here, the midges have come out, so I'm going to finish this and get out into the open fields and get away from them. Yeah, it's been good to stop because you know, I've really pushed hard across that open ground, and yeah, I just wish there wasn't so many flies around. They've all just come out within the last 10 minutes. I've got my hat here, and I'm using it like a horse's tail, just swishing it all over the place to keep them away from me. But yeah, right, okay, I'm going to get this down and plod on.